But let's get into the Roto World's player news, of course, to recap Thursday Night Football.
Do we have to?
Yeah, for one side of it, I think so. For the other side, questionable, as the Chargers easily handle business in this game. It's no surprise to see the top 4 fantasy performances come from the Chargers offense. Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey, Kamani Vidal, really nice bounce-back week. And Rondé Gadsden doubles down right now after a strong week from Gadsden. We got to hear from Ladd on his big game in the win against Minnesota. We got to hear from Gadsden on his comfort level in this offense.
I think it's a great start. It's like, go back, watch the film. I feel like, we still left some out there. And if we just don't beat ourselves, I feel like we're a hard football team to beat.
Your tight end now is becoming a key factor in the passing game.
Yeah, he's a
we didn't know much about him.
No, I saw that in OTA's training camp, and I knew he was special. And he's getting his opportunity, and he's playing like a vet. So it's just awesome.
Were you comfortable when you just first got here, or did it take a little bit of time?
I think it took a little bit of time, just because it was my first time, being out here, and I didn't know, how the practice structure was. I didn't know how hard we were going sometimes. But, eventually you just playing football at the end of the day. So, yeah, you get your way, and you find your rhythm.
So a couple of things here first for people that were watching it, like just the difference in size between McConkey and Gadsden is like amazing.
I think Gadsden ate Ladd McConkey in between those interviews.
He might have. By the way, I've never heard Ladd McConkey interviewed. Like he sounds like an accountant.
A very normal guy. Very normal guy. Interviewed him at the Combine. He's very nice dude.
Lovely.
Very level-headed. Incredible athlete. Just unbelievable athlete. Like,
I have to get rid of TurboTax.
It really did seem like, well, I think you can take a deduction here, for your home office. It was a little bit.
Ladd McConkey would beat the crap out of you.
Yeah. With one arm tied behind his back. Just to make this very clear.
Let's make no mistake. 6 of the girls coming over to my house tomorrow beat the crap out of me. So, that's not a
This would be a really good segment. We pit you against random assortment of random things.
Yeah,
like Matthew against 9 squirrels.
Yeah.
Matthew against
would lose.
Matthew against Ladd McConkey, but Ladd McConkey's legs are tied together and one arm behind his back.
Still lose.
Yep. It's working. We have a lot of off-season.
Yeah,
so
a lot of off-season to think about. Look, I think for one person, we'll get to him in a second, I thought this was really positive. Ladd McConkey becoming Ladd McConkey, the guy we all drafted in the beginning, 42% target share. He's had 25 targets over the last 2 weeks, at least 9 targets each of the past 3 games. That's the Ladd McConkey we drafted. Great. He's awesome. Since week 5, he's been the 6th best wide receiver in fantasy. Rondé Gadsden. Nice call by you, Jay. You bet the over on his prop. That was your best bet from last night. That cashed. Well done. And Gadsden, who we've talked about, Connor, quite a bit in terms of we like the skill set. We talked about it in the preseason as well. He was in some of my preseason content as well. He's showed last week was not a fluke. 3rd straight game with at least 5 receptions and 68 yards. He's averaging 20 fantasy points over that stretch. They were looking for him early and often, 21% target share in this game.
Well, that's what was awesome, right? Is that you didn't have to wait. It wasn't a weird script.
Yep.
He was just involved.
Yeah, he only had 5 targets, but that was because they didn't really have to throw it all in the 4th quarter. So target share, very healthy. Oscar Robertson's in trouble. The big O. It might be Rondé Gadsden. 9 times first-team All-NBA, triple-double. Rondé Gadsden just racking up 1 million yards. So I think this offense going forward, I think Ladd is the number 1 guy. And then I think Gadsden might be, there's a very good chance Gadsden's second in the pecking order.
Yeah, they also looked for Keenan Allen, and so there's some big chunk plays. And this performance, especially on a standalone national window, Gadsden's going to get some more attention. And I think they have so many weapons, and Herbert's playing at such a high level, they're going to be able to move it around. But look, for our purposes, are you starting Rondé Gadsden every week? Is he a tight end 1 the rest of the way? Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. So that's sort of asked and answered. I don't know that. So let's talk about. So we've talked about the big O. Let's talk about the small Q.
The little Q.
The little Q. Itty bitty Q.
The
mini
Q that couldn't.
Yeah. 0 Q. You see it right here from our friends at NFL Fantasy. Quentin Johnson finished Thursday Night Football with 0 targets. This is the first game of his career that he didn't have a target. Think about that. For the first 2 years of his NFL career, he couldn't catch. They were still throwing on the ball. But now that he's finally good, now that everyone started him, he can't get a target. Quentin Johnson, it's his first career game without a target. He ran 27 routes in this game. Literally just cardio. Just doing wind sprints. And because America, because he was on my love list, because I started him in a guillotine league, and because my best bet, Jay's cashed with a Gadsden, and Lawrence's, by the way, was the over on Justin Herbert's rushing, which also cashed fairly early. So for us to go 3 for 3, it was really up to me. I took over on Quentin Johnson's receiving yards.
You melted.
And I, to
be fair, it was a sweat.
I mean, well, it was 49.5. It's like one bomb gets me there, right?
Of course.
The premise was the Vikings blitz a lot, which they did. In theory, Quentin Johnson would be in single coverage. They've given up a lot of deep passes, the Vikings.
I have.
All the theory was right. It just was completely wrong because Justin Herbert, so I was very focused on this. Justin Herbert would even look to the side of the field that he was on. Like once it started to be like, whoa. Like once we cashed those first two, I'm looking, and every single play I'm looking, wait, is QJ hurt? He's out there. Okay, one. Okay, he's in motion. He's at the top of the screen. Okay, and Herbert drops back, and is he looking on that side? No, he's looking over there. Like he doesn't even look to that side. Like it was awful. It's worth noting over the last 2 games, he's got an 8% target share. He's got 15 receiving yards per game. It's averaging. He's wide receiver 62 over the last 2 games. Now, that's such a small sample size, and obviously when you go 0 for 0, that skews it. But, do you feel like – I don't know that you can trust Quentin Johnson until you see it again.
No, because now it's a trend, right? The first 4 games, Jay, he blew past this number.
Yes, he did.
And the targets were 7, 9, and 13. The receiving yards were hovering around about 80 to 85 on average. The last 3 games, he's not even close to this usage or looks and the actual raw stats.
And the weird part is that this sort of coincides with Oronde Gadsden's emergence over the last 3 games. But, they're such different players. That's the part I don't get. Is if you told me they were going to have a tight end that would, but he's their deep threat.
And then Trey Harris gets the touchdown though.
Yes.
So now that you have 2 players kind of eating into the targets.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. One is that QJ, a lot of the longer developing routes, the offensive line has just completely collapsed. Now they're getting healthier. Maybe that can correct, but I think a lot of his slide has coincided with Justin Herbert just being under siege, just needing to get it out quicker. So there's not as much deep stuff. The other thing is that he's had this hamstring issue. Maybe he's not 100% right. And then but the biggest thing is that it just never made sense that Ladd McConkey wasn't going to be the number 1 wide receiver in this offense.
Right.
Ladd McConkey's the best receiver, and now he's finally showing that. And so I think QJ is now tied for second going forward with Keenan Allen, and Gadsden might be ahead of both of them. So I don't think you feel good about starting QJ until you see him show what he did in the first.
No, for sure. I mean, listen, the argument would be this is a team that Herbert's playing at a great level, and as we've talked about, they're one of the top teams in the NFL in terms of pass rate over expectation. So maybe there's enough volume here to get you there, especially because QJ's game isn't predicated on volume. Again, he's a guy that can make your day in 2 or 3 plays. Honestly, 1 play if he connects on a long one. So, but it just
the issue
that was brutal. That was brutal last night. I apologize, America.
Apology accepted.
Thank you.
Australian, but I'll accept the apology on behalf of America. The problem is that no passing offense can support 4 guys to be relevant fantasy-wise. And there's QJ's been the odd man out lately. It's hard to support 3 guys, let alone unless you're the Eagles with Goddard, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, and there's no other passes to anyone. But I do think that going forward, he's very, very possibly 4th in that pecking order.
Second straight game for 25 or more fantasy points for Justin Herbert. I like that he's using his legs. He's averaging a career-high 31 rushing yards per game on the year. So, again, shout-out to our guy, plus money, Lawrence Jackson, who
Good call, Lawrence.
That was his best bet yesterday was Justin Herbert at plus money over on his rushing prop, and he cleared it easily. Nice game from Kamani Vidal, who now has 19 or more fantasy points in 2 of the past 3. Played 81% of the snaps through the first 3 quarters. Looked the part. Looked the part. Big bounce back week. No signs of Amarian Hampton coming back anytime soon. So really right now it's just a matter of Vidal staying healthy because he's going to be the guy. And I think also, Jay, you love what you see in the pass game a little bit from Vidal, at least capable in the pass game when he gets those opportunities on top of the bulk of the carries.
Yeah, that's the key. And he only had the 1 reception yesterday,
but
it takes it for a touchdown. Yeah, and he's going to be the guy in that role. He had 7 receptions across the previous 2 games, so that's definitely a part of it. It's not going to be as easy, given that they were playing with this huge lead, which they're probably not going to have in most games. Going up against a very suspect run defense as well in Minnesota. But yeah, Kamani Vidal, I think you feel pretty comfortable starting him until Hampton comes back.
Yeah. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.